Hello, I'm Dr. Mel, talk show host of Bridging. Welcome back to our next episode of Bridging, where we talk with real people discussing real issues and coming up with real solutions. Today on Bridging, I have with me Dr. Franco Taylor. Dr. Franco Taylor is a naturopathic doctor. I call him the medicine man, and he has some really good information for us today. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Bridging generation gaps, racial gaps, socioeconomic gaps. Bridging, a national television talk show designed to bridge gaps. Let's start a conversation about critical issues confronting today's society.
Okay, Dr. Taylor, thank you for being with us today, Dr. Frankel Taylor. I am so excited to talk to you. I am just like on edge about questions that I have for you. But first, tell us, what is a naturopathic doctor? I call you the medicine man because that's what you are, the medicine man.
But all right, well, I'll accept that. If I had anything to add to that, not Dr. Mel, I would say the nutritional medicine man. Okay, because we had the old medicine men with the black magic, and then we had the slope doctors and all those, they were hung out on the sides of the mountains and all that. But if I could do anything, what's coming up now, and even medical associations are beginning to realize, and that is nutritional medicine. This is the medicine that has been around since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. That was what God gave us. And even if you look at medicine, what is the so-called father of medicine called? His name is something Medes, not Archimedes, but it'll come to me. But the bottom line, he said that let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. Wow. So even the Medical Association, its founder said that your food would be your medicine and your medicine would be your food. So and then when God created, go ahead.
So when you say nutritional medicine, doctor, like I don't know much about that, but I automatically thought nutrition, food, nutrients. Tell us, how do you use nutrition as a medicine? How do you use nutrients as a medicine?
Okay. Well, you said it just right. You actually said it to a certain degree, and that is the body is designed. When God created us, he created us and he gave us a meal plan. And in the Bible, I'm not trying to preach, but in Genesis, the first chapter, verse 29, God said, I've given you every herb-bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. So man's first meat or first food was fruit, nuts, and grains. Everything that grew on the planet loftily up in the air, so that when man, and whenever these fruits would drop to the ground, the seeds would do what? Plant another, and it would reproduce, and there would be another tree of that type. Right. So when man first got his food, he reached up in the air to the fruit, the nuts, the grains, and when he reached up, he was reaching towards who? God. And so that was the beginning. And then we know that God didn't create man to perish or to die. So that food that he gave him, the fruit, nuts, grains, was what? Forever food. So that was the food that was going to keep him well and living a long, long time. So bottom line is nutritional medicine is just taking us back to the first foods. He was planted in the garden, so he had all the fresh food, had the fresh air, had the fresh, pristine waters. He was, it says that God gave him to be what? He was, he told him to multiply and replenish the earth, but he also told him to do what? To dress and keep the garden, which means he did what? He had to work. Yes. So he got exercise. So he got fresh air, he got sunlight, he got exercise, he got nutrition, he got good water. So all those natural things would keep him alive forever. And so that's what a nutritional medicine doctor does. He takes us back to where we began. He takes us back to what the body needs first of all in order to be well and be healthy and to regenerate and heal itself. So that's what a nutritional doctor is.
So we talked about the nutrients. So what about the medicine part? How does what we eat heal us and make us better? How does that happen?
Okay. Well, we have in our bodies, Dr. Mel, something called the immune system. And that's the millions of lymphocytes and leukocytes and phagocytes macrophage, these white cells that literally go through the body, and they look for things that don't belong, like germs and viruses and bacteria, and they will literally grab them and pull them into the bloodstream. And Leviticus 17:11 says the life of the flesh is in the blood. So it pulls it into the bloodstream, and if the blood is flowing, it pulls it out of the body. You either cough it out, you blow it out through your nose, or you may have to throw it up in some cases, or it comes out through the urinary tract or through the bowels. Those are 5 of the eliminative channels in which the stuff comes out of the body. If it doesn't, it stays in, and it makes us even sicker. So when we eat properly and drink properly and get the rest and do all the things that we should do, then the body basically reaches what is called homeostasis, and it makes itself well. It regulates itself. It gets rid of what doesn't belong. It takes what needs to be there. It assimilates it, digests it, and it builds the energy that our bodies need. So that's what your nutrition is all about. Without the nutrition, we start breaking down, because then we have these wastes that don't come out of the body. They stay in, and disease can't live in a running bloodstream. Just like a frog won't lay eggs in a running water. He lays it in stagnant water. So disease literally lives in waste and putrid, morbid material, which is when our bodies are not getting rid of poisons. We're not having enough bowel movements. We're not drinking enough water to have the urine come out. So then the body begins to self-intoxicate. We begin to clog up, and the body begins to shut down with sickness and disease.
Wow. Okay, so I hear a lot about certain waters and waters that we should drink. Now, I know we should drink enough water. How much is enough water? That's the first question. And I really want to know about this alkaline water, because I've been spending my money. Is alkaline water really better than bottled water and the other water that comes out of the sink?
Okay, well, one thing you're going to learn about me, Dr. Mel, is I very seldom will give an answer that God or the Bible is not tied into, okay? Because that's
I love it.
I love a lot of argument with that. So that book's been around a long time. So I use it as my reference book and my textbook and my encyclopedia. But actually, in the book of Ezekiel 4:11, God gave us a command. He said, thou, and this is exactly how it says it, thou shalt drink also water by measure, the 6th part of an hin from time to time shalt thou drink. Let's break that down.
Yes.
God is saying you should drink a measured amount of water every day. Okay. And then he says the 6th part of a hin. What's a hin? Well, it's not a buck, 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 buck. It's not a H-E-N, it's an H-I-N. And an H-I-N is a part of a bath of water in the Hebrew and Greek. And that is exactly a gallon and a half, or 6 quarts. So a hin is 6 quarts. So it says to take what? 1/6 of 6. So if you have 6 over here and you take 1/6 away, what is that? 1. 1/6 is 1. So it says that we should drink it what? From time to time. So if you drink that 1/6 one time, then if you come over here and drink it another time, how many is that? 2 quarts. 2 quarts is how many glasses? It's 8. How many glasses have the doctors been telling us to drink for the last 50, 75?
Water a day.
I thank God that man caught up, but my God sent me the word through the prophet Ezekiel 6,000 years ago, telling me to drink 8 glasses of water a day minimum. But it's not, it says from time to time. That could be another time. I don't know how many, but at least 2, at least a minimum of 8 glasses. But if a person weighs more, they may need a little more water. Because if I have a Ford Expedition, which is a big truck, okay, and I have a Ford Echo, a little bitty little car, they both use water, Dr. Mill, but they both wouldn't use the same amount of water. The big Expedition uses a lot more water than the Echo. Could you drive the Expedition on Echo water? No, not for very long, because what would happen, it would overheat and the pipes would explode and the car would just break down. Well, what happens to us when we don't get enough water? Our pipes do what? Swell up and they pop. It's called an aneurysm, a stroke, a heart attack, high blood pressure. You aren't getting this. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Same thing, lack of water. So those kinds of things help basically to make up what the water should be. And based on what God says, we should drink a minimum of 8 glasses, but the recipe is 1/2 of your body in ounces of distilled or pure water every day. Half of your body. If you weigh 120, 60 ounces or 64 ounces, which is right at 8 glasses. If you weigh 200, then you'd need 100 ounces. 96 is 12 glasses. So you base it on the size of the body, okay?
So
now you real.
You said distilled water, so I don't have to spend my money on the alkaline water?
Well, you'd have to spend it on distilled too, unless you have a distiller. I do sell distillers, but the key is alkaline water. You're gonna the best water. You're gonna have to pay something to get it, because the spring water, and again, hopefully we're gonna do some more of these series, because these answers, in order to be clear to people, need a little bit of explanation. But the key is water is not designed to make your body alkaline. If so, where was it 30 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago? There was no alkaline water that way. In other words, the way that we get it now with a machine that makes it alkaline, okay? Alkaline water is just regular tap water that has had electric current sent through it, and maybe even a little chemical or whatever to make it more alkaline. The key is the minerals in it help it to become alkaline too. Now, the minerals that are in it are the minerals that the water picked up as it ran across the ground, ran over the ground, underground, okay? Those minerals, our bodies are organic, living. Those minerals are little minuscule pieces of sand and rock and calcium and iron and magnesium, and so they're like chalk. They're ground, they're inorganic, okay? They're not what I call breakdownable, okay? They don't break down, okay? But the key is, because our bodies are organic and because the minerals are inorganic, inorganic minerals going through an organic body are going to cause a problem. Over a long period of time, they'll build up kidney stones and gallstones. Mm-hmm. How do I know that? Arkansas is known for what? Spring or mineral water. It's known for that water with all the minerals in it. People come from all over the world to get it. But Arkansas is also #1 in something else. They're called the stone belt, or the stone capital of the world. We're not talking diamond and rubies. We're talking about gallstones and kidney stones.
Wow.
Are you listening to me?
Wow.
That is so deep. That is, so people just, it's powerful. And the 2-3 people in the world in these circuses are called the stone man and the stone woman. They're like 500-600 pound people sitting in a chair, and their body looks like lava rock all over. They're hardened, and you can actually drive nails into this stuff. It's calcified material, and all 3 of these people in the circus came from Arkansas.
Wow.
Because that's where
drinking the water.
Drinking the water. You got it. You got it. That's deep.
Wow. Wow.
So now, why distilled water? We might need to do that too. Why do I say distilled? Not because it's the only, but because it's the best water. Okay. Why? Because it's the water that God gives in his ecological cycle. What am I saying? If you have a little box and it's a distiller, in the bottom of it, you have an element that's a heater. It heats up the water. When you heat water, what does it do? It evaporates and it rises to the top. When it goes to the top, what does it leave behind? Bacteria, minerals, germs. It leaves everything behind. It goes to the top. It hits the top, which is cool. It condenses and it falls over on this side in another chamber, and it's pure steam distilled water. It has nothing, just water. So that's distilled water. Now let's go out to God's ecological cycle. You have a lake here, you have a river here, and up here you have the sun shining down on these bodies of water. When the sun hits the water, what does the water do? It evaporates. What does it do when it evaporates? It rises. When it rises up, what does it take with it? Nothing. It leaves behind the minerals, the germs, the bacteria, and then it goes up, it condenses in the cloud, it gets cool, and it falls as what? Rain. What kind of rain? Steam distilled rain. You ain't getting this. It's good stuff. It's rich. So the best water is the water that God's ecological cycle gives, and that is distilled water. But you can have purified. You can have toilet water. You might get E. coli, but at least water is all I'm saying. So I don't care what water they drink. I'm just talking which one is the best. I'll talk about what's the best food. What's the best occupation to have? What's the best way to have relationships? I always talk about the best because that's what God wants from us, our best.
That is why I like talking to you, medicine man, Dr. Franco, because
Okay.
one thing I truly appreciate is that you're not going to give us no fluff and, okay, so I'm learned, you're learned. We go to school, we learn some things, but everything that we've
That's
learned
right.
in school, we don't agree with, and you can't
That's true.
agree with because the Bible is our first teacher.
Okay.
So that's
Ooh,
one reason why
said
I
something.
like talking to you, because you always bring it back to the word. We've been talking about lots of things, foods we should eat. We've talked about how much water we should drink according to the word, even though doctors have told us over and over again that we should drink at least 8 glasses of water. Believers, it's in the word. We just didn't know the hen from the hen, the HIN from the HEN. But you broke it down for us today, and I thank you for that. So, Dr. Franco, talk to us about the Bible way. And if you could just tell us what each letter stands for, and we're going to
Okay.
definitely have to bring you back, but I don't want to leave today without talking about the Bible way.
Okay. Well, Dr. Mel, the Bible way, I am so sorry. Um, I thought I had turned this off. Let's make
That's
sure that they
okay.
know I can call them back. Okay, I'm sorry. But the Bible way is actually a manuscript about to be elongated into a book, okay? And it's basically what I call the 8 prescriptions from the great physician. They're prescriptions from God, they're natural, and they will help our bodies to be well and stay well if we were to adhere to them. And they're actually commands from God. But the letters are Bibleway. The B stands for best food in combination. That's found in Genesis 1:29. We just talked about that. The I is intake of plenty of water. We just talked about that. That's found in Ezekiel 4:11. The next B is being temperate. God says that you should be temperate. Don't do anything, overdo anything. Do everything and, just minimize those things. And so decently and in order. That's Philippians 4:5. The L is lots of rest and sleep. Ecclesiastes 5:12 says that the rest of a laboring man is sweet, but the sleep of the rich man, it won't suffer him to get good rest. Bottom line, because of worrying about his money. Okay, but the key is that's the L, BIDL. The E is exercise daily. Okay, Genesis 2 tells us that God placed man in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. So he made him a what? A worker. He's a farmer. He had to work, okay? The next letter is a W for wonderful sunshine. Most people don't realize that vitamin D comes from the sunlight, not from a pill, okay? And that's found in Genesis, the 1st chapter also. Air fresh and clean. Oh, wow, that's something. God breathed into man's nostrils a Coca-Cola, and he became a living soul. No.
A Diet Coke.
Want to make sure a Diet Coke at that. Want to make sure we were awake. But he breathed into man's nostrils the breath of life. So the first thing that God gave to man was oxygen, the most important mineral of all. We can go weeks without food. We can go days without water, but we can only go a few moments without oxygen. So it's very important. And when we get to that one, when I come back, we do the oxygen, the air. We'll talk about how to get deep breathing for the body. But the last letter is a Y, and that's yield to God's will always. You can't change your eating pattern, your drinking pattern, your exercise, your resting, you won't change any of that without some help from God, because we got in a habit of doing things a certain way and it's hard to break. So the BIBLEWAY are 8 prescriptions from God that will help you to become healthy and stay healthy. So that's how we do what we do when we talk to people about the scientific things that they need to hear. It says that all good things come from above. So even those scientific things are based on biblical principles. And therefore, I don't worry about whether they're right or whether they're good. I know they are. I'll never argue about it, but I know what I'm talking about because this is godly given.
But if you could briefly, what are your thoughts about the COVID-19?
There's so many things that it could be, but I think even more important than what caused it is the fact that it's here, it's real, and it's killing people. Right. So I guess the key is, what do we do Why is it that it's killing people? Well, it's killing older people because their immune systems are so low. Right. And it appears that it's killing them faster. But the bottom line is, it's because it destroys the immune system. So what is the key? There was a gentleman by the name of Dick Gregory. It was at a time about 25 years or so ago when AIDS was the big thing. Everybody was afraid of AIDS. They didn't want to breathe in the same room with somebody that had AIDS, because I know I didn't either. I didn't want to shake nobody's hand. I didn't want to breathe in the same hand. I didn't want to look at them. I was afraid if they looked at me too hard, I'd get it, right? But that was just because we didn't understand. No, but the key is, he told them, he simply said to them, he says, why are you so afraid? He says, AIDS, what does it stand for? And in one accord, they all said, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. He says, that means that your immune systems are down, right? And they all said, right. He said, well, if your immune system's down, build them back up, dummies. And that's the way he said it. So he was saying to all of them, just build your immune system up. It's right in your face. Somehow you acquired a low immune deficiency, and that's what's wrong with the body. So build it back up. Well, there were two men. One man's name was Ilya Ilnik Mechnikov, and in 1928, he received the Nobel Prize in Immunology. Well, in 1968, another gentleman by the name of Sir McFarlane Burnett, Sir Frank McFarlane Burnett received the Nobel Prize in Immunology, and both of them studied what? The immune system. They both found that your immune system made potentially thousands of virus or cancerous cells every day. It didn't matter if the immune system was strong, because the immune system would get rid of all of those potentially cancerous or viral cells. But what if the immune system was down? And that was the whole point. So all of these sicknesses, all these diseases, all of these different types of viruses are all able to come into our bodies if our immune systems are what? Down, if they're compromised, if they're weak, if they're not strong. And what does it take to make them strong? Yes. Good nutrition, lots of water to keep the body hydrated, lots of natural minerals that comes from what? The food that we eat, okay? The food that's what? Not cooked. Because when you cook the food, you take all the enzymes out, you take all the metabolites out, take the minerals out, take the fiber out, so you're getting nothing. Well, the coronavirus is different from all the rest of them. Well, if it's yellow like a duck, has web feet and quacks, it's still a duck. A virus is a virus is a virus. And your immune system will fight it off, and there are formulas on the planet, and we'll get a chance to talk about that at another time, that have actually brought the viruses to a halt in its tracks.
Okay, so whenever, oh gosh, we're almost out of time. Okay, so whenever we have a show, I always want to end with some solution, something that our viewers can walk away with today. So here's my question. Okay. And my viewers, because I love my viewers too, what can they eat that will help build our immune system starting now?
Okay, very good. Actually, Dr. Mel, live food. When God created man and gave him that diet, there were no microwave ovens and there were no George Foreman grills. So how did they eat their food? Basically, it was live or raw. I'm not saying that everybody has to become a raw foodist, but a good deal of their food needs to be the food that God originally gave us, because he knew what this machine needed. He was the manufacturer. And the first thing he said to us was what to eat to put in it. So obviously there was a reason for that. So if that be the case, then let's look at live food. Let's say over here, you got some chicken. Well, we know chicken is dead because you ain't eating no live chicken. So it's dead. Over here, you got chicken, you got your animal products. But here's a question. If you cook a vegetable, is it live or is it dead? I'll answer that. It's dead. You killed it.
Yeah.
That kind of heat destroys it. So you got animal products, you even got cooked vegetables over here. So that means your animals are dead, your macaroni cheese, your scrambled eggs dead, your string beans, your squash, your greens, they're delicious. You can suck them up with a straw, but they're dead. Over here on this plate, you've got green leaf lettuce, cucumbers, bell peppers, tomatoes, carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower, the way you put it in a salad, apples, peaches, pears, plums, bananas, grapes, raisins, mangoes, papayas, blueberries. All this is live stuff. Now here's the question. which plate has enzymes that's going to help your body digest the meal? The live side. Which side has vitamins, life, that's going to build your immune system? The live side. Which side has minerals that are going to do what? Build and help to strengthen your bones and your joints and so forth? The live side. Which side has fiber that's going to make the bowels move like most people's don't move? The live side. Which side do people eat the most of?
The dead side.
Okay, are you getting the point? If you don't get anything else from this, this will change life. If you eat more live food with every meal, the body will change. Real quick, like in the morning, if you're going to eat whole grain grits, whole grain biscuits, whole grain pancakes, whole grain cereal, what's the key word? Whole grain. Right. With that whole grain, you need 2 to 3 pieces of fruit. Apple, peach, apple, pear, apple, banana, apple, grapes, apple, mango, apple, papaya, apple something, because apple is the king of the fruit. So that'll give you a good breakfast. For lunch, I know we're in the 2020. Right now we can't go out, but we do normally go out. We might go to Mickey D's or Captain D's or Wendy's or one of these or some of these or all of these. It should be none of these, okay? But the key is, it doesn't matter as long as you get what? Something live to go with it. So if you got a nice big salad or a nice big slaw to go with that sandwich, you still got what you need, okay? And for dinner, if you're having meat and vegetable, okay, just as long as you got a nice big salad or slaw to go with it. So something live to go with the other is what it's gonna take to heal the immune system, strengthen the body, wake you up, give you brain power, give you thought power, heal your nerves. Everything that you do requires nutrition. And food that is cooked is not nutrition, it's just food. And the body doesn't want food, it wants nutrition. So just remember, live food with every meal, even a snack of nuts and popcorn or something like that, needs some sliced cucumber, sliced carrots, or some sliced apple, something live to go with it. That right there will change the lives of 99 out of 100 people that are listening and looking at us right now. Just something live with every meal.
Thank you so much. You know what? I had like 3 bullet points. I thought you were going to say eat an apple, banana, and some nuts, but you gave us more than what I could have bargained for. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. We are definitely going to have you back because we want to talk about the Bible way, and I want you to break down each letter. And it's going to take some time. So can you commit to about 4 or 5 more shows? We'd love to have you. That is our show for today. Thank you, Dr. Frankel, for being here. And I know, I'm not going to say that I hope you got something out of this show. I know you got something out of this show. And I appreciate, Dr. Frankel, that even when I asked about the food, you didn't say just start eating all live food. You said when you cook your other food, add something live with it. So we can take that away with us. We can go ahead and go shopping and get some fruit, some vegetables, some nuts, some raw vegetables, and add that to the meals that we're already eating. It has been a great show today, and I can't wait to have you back. That is it for today on Bridging. I am Dr. Mel, your talk show host, and where we talk with real people about real issues and we come up with real solutions. That's been our show. Thank you, and come back again.